but they couldn't rescue her either. So she was forgotten and left to survive on San Nicolas all by herself. So she spent the next 18 years taking in a cave. She fished with hooks made of seashell. She captured birds as well, seals, defeathered the birds and fashioned their feathers and the seal skins into dresses. And she did not lay idle. This lady was busy, productive, weaving baskets and bowls from grasses on the island. She finally was rescued in 1853 when Captain George Nedever discovered her on San Nicolas. He took Juana Maria to Santa Barbara a few weeks later, and because nobody spoke her language, she used hand gestures to tell everyone her astonishing story. Now, after 18 years on an island and a decent diet to keep her alive, when she got back to Santa Barbara, her body couldn't adjust to the diet of the mainland. And only 2 months later, after leaving her island, she died. Now that is just sad to me. Her story was later fictionalized in a popular children's novel, Island of the Blue Dolphins. The last one is of frozen tundra, the Ross Sea Party. Now these gentlemen was helping Ernest Shackleton. He attempted to cross Antarctica on foot. This is a very classic story of survival, but even more extraordinary is the Ross Sea Party, who was the supply crew who spent 2 years as castaways on the other side of the continent. Mr. Shackleton was ambitious in his expedition because it called for 2 separate teams. First, Mr. Shackleton himself, and he planned to land on Antarctica below South America before making a transcontinental crossing. Now, at the same time, the other crew, the Ross Sea Party, was going on the opposite side of the continent and depositing bags of food and fuel and supplies for Mr. Shackleton as he came across the Ross Ice Shelf, it was called. So they docked near McMurdo Sound in January 1915, and they began trekking across the ice and the snow and the freezing weather, placing deposits every 60 miles for Mr. Shackleton. But that May, the team's ship was blown out to sea because a big storm came up and the winds had pushed it out to sea. So they were stranded at the edge of the world with hardly any resources, any supplies, but they decided to continue with their mission. And they successfully laid all the necessary things that this gentleman would need. That was their job. That was their mission. Unfortunately, they lost 3 men in the process. So 3 of their comrades died trying to get these supplies for Mr. Shackleton. They spent a year, all of them confined to a small hut before they were rescued in January 1917. And unfortunately, they learned when they got home that all that had been in vain because his Shackleton's own team had lost their ship and they never even started their crossing. So all of that work and 3 people dying, and it was all for naught. But Shackleton would later write, "No more remarkable story of human endeavor has ever been revealed than the tale of that long march." So that is the end of our 6 famous castaways today. Make sure everybody remembers that this research came from www.history.com/news/list/6-famous-castaways. I hope all our listeners had enjoyed today's selection about our castaways. This is why I really think it's a privilege to be part of this educational literacy program that is Storyteller's Campfire. I'm always learning new things, new facts, exciting things about people, places, history. I could go on and on for hours, but don't have the time today. We're running out. So just remind our listeners that you can listen to our archive shows at storytellerscampfire.org, or we are taking suggestions for future shows if you like. So let me know about it at charliecheckers@storytellerscampfire.org. And that is all we have for today. Remember to dance like no one's watching and to sing like no one's listening. Goodbye.
It's the Charlie Checker Show, a jazzy compendium of reviews for artists, independent films, musicians, and authors. Visit online at thecharliecheckershow.com.
Storytellers Campfire radio shows are heard in over 100 countries around the world. Our main programs are Author's Voice, Poetry Wheel, Storytales Radio Show, The Golden Ark of Treasure, The Charlie Checkers Show, Campfire Musicians, and On the Line Public Interest News. Every show is unique and provides interesting programs for our listeners. Join us each week at our Campfire on Tuesday at 12 o'clock noon on XRQK Los Angeles and Airtime America. To learn more about Storytellers Campfire, visit online at storytellerscampfire.org.